Hello, friends. I am so honored to be welcoming you now to this first Path of Love podcast. This has been an idea that's been cooking for over 9 years. And I think people can resonate with this part of the journey where we are procrastinating. I feel like I've been doing that for quite a while. But as we were welcoming one of my teachers, Michaël Bijker, and he was coming to Iceland to make a retreat, I felt I could not deny the opportunity to make a podcast with him. So in a way, I had to push through my resistances to make this podcast happen. And I'm so grateful that Michaël Bijker, my teacher for 4 years, one of the leading pranayama teachers in the world, and just a very strong role model and a friend, was willing to do the podcast with me. In this podcast, we talked about everything from walking a path of love, traditional yoga practices, and different elements that make us feel stuck in life, as well as the solutions, how to get out of it. What is a good way to accept yourself for wherever you are right now, and how to start daily practice. I was very grateful for this whole interview, and to me this was something like a good introduction that I wish I would have had when I started my yoga journey around 9 years ago. So I want to call this podcast everything that you wanted to know about yoga before you start your journey. For my intro, I've been accompanied by Helgi Freyr, or Hugi, a good friend of mine who made the music for me. And I'm deeply grateful and happy about the results. So see you all on the other side. Looking forward to hear your reflections. And I'm looking forward to this journey we're going on together as we explore the path of love and what it is to walk a path of love and choose love over fear in every moment. And it is my prayer that I can be a companion to each and every one of you who wants to deepen their practice, who wants to feel more inspired, and who wants to get to know new people with interesting opinions, and that we can bring every single interview to a practical, useful information so that you may be a better person and show up in the best way possible every single day. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the other side. I'm joined here by my good friend and teacher, Michaël.
Hello, brother.
And we've been on this retreat weekend together where we were hosting a breathwork, pranayama, yoga retreat for people who've been in jails and people with addictions and mixed with some normal people in between. And saw a lot of transformation and beauty, and I would love to talk to you about that afterwards. But I would love to start with just asking you, like, what's your story and how did you come on this path of yoga and mindfulness?
Wonderful. Welcome, everybody. Beautiful that you're joining in. Thanks for having me. So I was always interested in spirituality and in what is God and religion, and I was raised very Christian. And then when I was about 12, 13, 14, you start to create a bit your own ideas and you want to discover yourself. What do you really believe? And I started to get interested in other religions and traditions. And I also saw I think it was true diseases that I had, like I had a lot of skin problems and eczema, that it really helps to take good care of your body, not just with medications or putting creams on your body to put the symptoms down, but really taking care of your mind and your body. And I wanted to dive deeper into that. And then I started to see also how kind of calming your mind and meditation really helped with that. And I got more and more interested in these things, and I got more interested also in how the mind works and what is reality and what is life and what is God and what is creation. And I think on the one hand I dove deep into philosophies and traditions, but that was all a lot of theory. So I dove a lot also in practices where you can actually experience it, not with the mind, but with your direct experience with the heart. So lots of qigong and yoga and meditation practices, mind training practices. So I think one of the things that pushed me really into this direction was a lot of the like the difficulties that I had in life. And that's, I think, a beautiful thing what we saw also the last week. Sometimes difficulties can push you into a certain direction to actually bring growth in your life. So then I started learning more about this, and I started sharing it with people, basically.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And what tools did you work with before you came to pranayama and breathwork?
It was, I remember I lived near a national park. There was a lot of nature. I used to go a lot just into nature, just to sit and just to listen and just to see. And there was a lot of water where I was, so I would just stare at the water, not really looking at the water. But then I know it was something mesmerizing, something hypnotic, something meditative, basically, to just stare and sit there and watch life unfold in front of you without interacting or trying to control anything, and just sitting there. So these things, especially in going in nature, really helped a lot with that. Yeah. And I think also I noticed that at some point I was about 15 or 16, and I had some mushrooms. And in that process also, I was already very much doing things with mind training and meditation. But then I noticed that you take a substance, you take something, and it changes completely your perspective on your reality. How you see things changes, how you think changes, how you feel and experience yourself. And then I was like, wow, your whole life experience is going through the filter of your mind and your emotions. And if you take something, it can completely change how you experience reality. So what is reality, and what is actually the thing that is observing the reality? And I think that brought also a big shift in trying to understand what is that what we experience, but also what is the experiencer of it, and how can we create a harmonious state of life, a joyful state of life, in which we can have a beautiful experience and knowing our true self, basically.
Wow, that was already at age 16.
15, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I was doing those things at the age of 15.
Yeah. I think unfortunately we learn nothing about how we can regulate our mind, or how we can do meditation and in schools. Unfortunately not. Slowly it's coming. I think in a couple of generations it will become a normality, but it would be so wonderful. It would prevent so much suffering in the world. If from a young age we can learn to work with the mind, work with the emotions, work with getting a deeper understanding what life is about and how to live a purposeful life.
Yeah. And even I've noticed in classes I've attended I have a gym membership. Some very cool teachers, but often it feels a bit more like a physical practice than a spiritual practice, and how we do yoga in the West today. And what do you think is missing in those exercises? What do you think is the substance that?
Yeah. So I think asanas, the physical practice, the postures, I don't think it is in yoga just a preparation. Just to prepare your body, your physical body, that you can, for example, that you can sit and not have like, I have this ache here and this pain there, or I'm feeling sluggish, I'm feeling very low on energy, and things are blocked in your system. Now that you have vitality, that you have health, that you have strength, there's an openness in this whole nervous system, this whole energy system, that you can sit without feeling any distractions in that system, that you build up a bit of willpower, that through physically controlling your body, you can also start to control your mind more and regulate your mind. And then start to do the inner work, for example, with pranayama, with regulating your energy through the breath, regulating your prana with very slow, soft breathing, or maybe a bit of stronger breathing. And then once you can regulate this energy system and clean out impurities or blockages, then you can start to do dharana, the focus, the concentration on one point of the mind. And then once you can do that, you can go into a state of meditation and just recognize your essence, your true nature. So I think a lot of people are stuck with their identity and just life is physical and this physical body, and the ego wants to be beautiful, or wants to be strong and healthy, and it's all very beautiful to be strong and healthy, but of course life is more than just this physical body. And just to give a bit of a longer explanation about this, in the yogic traditions, there are 5 layers of our being, the 5 koshas, the physical body, but there is energy moving through this body, otherwise it would be dead meat on the floor. And beyond this energy that's flowing through the body, this prana, it creates another body, the mind, the emotions. If you go more subtle, there's this kind of this higher mind, which is able to observe that monkey mind and say, okay, wait a minute, let's make that monkey mind a bit more still, let's focus on the breath, more that intelligence part of ourselves. Then if you go deeper, there's the essence of our being, the bliss body, Anandamaya kosha, our essence, our source, our true nature, the pure consciousness. So if people are only identified and they've only experienced the physical body, then it's the only thing they can work with. If people start to recognize, okay, there's this physical body, but there's also energy flowing through the body, there's that mind, and who is observing, and how can I integrate all these practices to bring harmony in all these different layers of my being, to find unity and bliss in life.
Yeah. And that's what I really feel separates you from most of the teachers I've had, you know. And just a weekend, I've done 2 long weekend retreats with you. And both times it's really felt like something deep shifts. There's an awareness in you that guides and helps the people who are interacting with to go deep automatically. And of course it's also a team effort, but I do feel that is something you do carry as well.
Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you very much. That's beautiful. That's how I feel with these techniques, how it works for myself, what I've learned also from some of my wonderful teachers. And I think what we're trying to cultivate with these practices is to get to a deeper understanding of who we are, what we are, our true self, our higher self. And once we start to feel that we also step out of that game of needing to fix ourselves, or needing to fix our emotions and fix our past and fix this and fix that, because we understand, like, in essence, I'm already like a pure consciousness, which is just having the experience of emotions and having the experience of a mind. And I don't have to always fix. If I can step out of the mind, step out of the emotions, they are maybe still doing their thing, but I can just observe them and like, I'm already okay. I'm a living a human being. I'm a spirit, I'm a soul with an experience of having a body, having a mind, and in essence I'm already connected and complete. So I think otherwise we get very caught up in this idea, I always have to fix myself, my life, fix others, fix the world, which is beautiful, but we have to remember that in essence, in the core of our being, there's nothing that has to be fixed. We just have to recognize that core of our being and live life from that.
Yeah. It's almost like a paradox, because you said it in the retreat, like you have to work your way through these practices and yoga to get to the place where you realize you don't need to do any of it. Because you're already kind of there.
There's nothing you have to change about your essence or yourself, or you are already in essence a perfect being. But to get to that state, you have to do some things and some practice, and that is what all these beautiful, also ancient practices step in, whether it's yoga or qigong or types of meditation, vipassana meditation. They help us to get to that state of self-realization. That in essence, it's life. It's all good.
Yeah, right. The next thing that came into my mind is when I started to meditate. I was 16 actually. Not like you. I was. There was a economy crisis here in Iceland. The whole banks went bankrupt, and the whole country was going through kind of a depression. And there's a producer, David Lynch. He said that he wanted to pay down for every person who wants to learn transcendental meditation. So he wanted a 1% of Icelanders to do transcendental meditation to see if it would lift up the country.
Wow.
He believed in this. And my mom paid for me to go in. And it, on theory, I was very excited. Like, wow, learning meditation. And then, sitting down, being 16, having all these like new friends, and I just couldn't sit still, and my thoughts were so loud. And therefore it does make sense for me that in yoga that you have these steps, you have these inner, what do you call them, the yamas, inner agreements you make with yourselves, and the outer agreements, and then you do postures, you get rid of some toxins in the body, maybe cleanse your body, and breath work. It feels to me it is a necessary stepping stones on the path, that you don't just go directly to meditation and hope to achieve samadhi right away if you haven't built the building blocks and prepared.
The goal of it all is to realize that in essence we are already complete, we are already connected, we are an expression of the divine, and in essence we are the divine expressing itself through this and life, like a nerve ending somewhere. We are like a nerve ending on a big body, being able to experience all of this beauty that's creation. But to get to that state, sometimes people try to sit, close your eyes, and just feel the bliss of being. And then they close their eyes, and it's like, I don't feel any bliss of being. I just feel my body is feeling very, I'm having pain here and pain there, and I'm feeling restlessness in my body. Okay, so we need to take care of this body, and that's through the asana practice. Or maybe you're thinking like, oh man, Actually, yesterday I wasn't so honest with somebody. I borrowed money and I didn't give it back, or maybe I've been eating 5 pizzas and ice cream, and I feel a little bit sluggish and low energy. So we also, the foundation, the yamas and the niyamas have certain ways of living internally and externally that are wholesome, that we are truthful, that we are honest people, that we take good care of this physical body and this mind, that we cultivate a life of contentment and all these things that just in our actions that help us to have a good energy system. Then taking care of the body with these asanas, and that your nervous system and your energy system is all open and strong. And then we want to regulate this inner energy system, and we want to learn to calm our mind and balance our emotional system. And the breath is the key to our subconscious, is the remote control. So with the breath we can harmonize and regulate and balance and unblock with all these different techniques. And then slowly, when this whole nervous system becomes more calm, the mind becomes more clear, the emotional system more balanced, then we can have a little bit more ease in our presence, in our sitting. And then we can focus our attention just on one point, and maybe we notice, we close our eyes, we try to focus on just being present, but we still have thoughts about this and a thought about what's going to be for dinner later. I still need to do some shopping. Oh, the shop closes at 6 and I need to hurry up. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm back here. Okay. My auntie should do this as well. It's so good for her. I haven't seen her in a while. Oh, no, wait a minute, back here. So we train our awareness to be here and now. And once that gets established, and we have our awareness here and now, and we can feel a kind of a lightness of being, then that goes into meditation. And the meditation, if we can hold it for some time, goes into a state of there's nothing to fix, nothing to be, just being already now here, good. And then if we can take a little bit of that into our daily life and recognize, okay, also the challenges that happen, things that happen, it's life, it's all life. Feeling that connection also. You're that expression of the divine, you're the expression of the divine, you're an expression of the divine. We're all connected, and we feel that unity and love and connection. We can start to live from a state of bliss.
Mm-hmm. And also the niyamas and the yamas, because there's like a whole concept about karma that, we don't need to go all the way into the detail of that, but if you're let's say stealing and lying every day, and then you manage to do yoga and breathwork and you get more energy, you are just gonna do more stealing and more lying. So it's like you fix where you've been doing wrong to others, so that you can come and cleanse that negative karma.
Yeah.
And that brings me to the next question, like service. I think that is also quite a beautiful stepping stone on the path that you've established quite well in your life. What inspired you to start this yoga platform, and what do you feel it gives you as a person to inspire so many?
So I really felt how it worked in my own life, how it worked for me, and I really saw also the suffering in people around me, and suffering comes in all sorts of forms, right? In maybe how people take care of their body, and just seeing a lot of people sometimes get maybe sick all the time, or they just feel very low on energy, or mentally sick in terms of just feeling down or depressed, or insomnia, or but also emotionally. A lot of people broken or stressed out or burned out, and I see in society there's so much of this invisible sickness, and I saw how these practices helped me, and I think everything it's inherent in us as a human beings. If you found something that helped you, that gave you joy and gave you peace and health, you naturally want to share it with others. It becomes like a bubbling source that wants to overflow into the lives of others, and you just get joy out of it. And if just for the talk, I think it's nice to go into that. I think we grew up as tribes, and thousands of years ago, if you were part of a tribe, if you found, for example, a place where there was an abundance of food, you became happy, but you wanted to share it with your rest of your tribe, right? Come look, there's so much food and berries. Let's feast. Let's enjoy. Or maybe in a place where there was not much water, and there is like all of a sudden you found water. You want to get your tribe members and your family to also enjoy it. And I think on a spiritual level, that's the same with this. You tap into a source of beauty and health and wisdom and peace, and you just naturally want to share that with your tribe members, with other human beings. So feeling also that in the sharing, in the giving, is already the reward, the joy, and that's a big shift from living that you do something to gain something, and living that you feel an emptiness and you want to fill it up by maybe gaining more status or more possessions so that you can fill up an emptiness. But it shifts because you have found the fulfillment is already within, and you just want to share it naturally with the world.
And this for me, because you've inspired a lot of people. You taught like thousands of online courses. There's over 100,000 students already, and it feels like the message is really spreading. And I think that is because you really received the benefits of the practice, and you healed before you started to preach it, you know. We have the saying in the airplanes, you know, you put your oxygen mask on first before you assist others.
Yeah.
And then I see a lot of people around me that are preaching something, but it also feels like they haven't fully healed, and the energy becomes a little bit like a very needy, like you have to believe this or you have to do this, and that just repels people away. But the natural medicine of a person who's already done the inner work, you don't even need to even sell it. We talked about, you are a walking, you could say, like advertisement for the inner work you have done, because people feel it on the presence.
Yes. No, absolutely. I think it becomes, and I'm not talking about myself, don't get me wrong, but if people start to tap into that energy, it naturally attracts others. It just becomes like you see that person. I would see you and I would think, wow, he's got something like a little bit of like that spark, that light. I want a little bit of that as well, you know. What is your secret, kind of? If you would see somebody who says they are 70 years old but they look like they're 40 or something, and then people would say, wow, what is your secret? You know, what do you do? And right away they want to do that as well. And I think energetically also people carry a certain frequency, they carry a certain energy. And with all these techniques, we raise our energy, we raise our frequency, and you can just feel it. And sometimes people can try to say it with words, but if you don't have it, you people won't feel it, right? So that's the beauty of this practice also, that we are raising our energy, our frequency, and naturally we start to attract not just people, but also things in our lives, and abundance in our lives, and joy and beauty and love, that starts to naturally follow it. It's a magnet. Your state of heart, your state of emotion, it attracts that what is in line with it, what is the same with it, and you can't fake that.
Wow. Yeah. I also think it's very cool how you are breaking down like Western philosophies, and you're making it very easy for our minds to understand it.
Eastern philosophies or Western philosophies?
I said Eastern. I meant Eastern. You're taking these philosophies that sound very like, I don't know, like words on a paper, maybe when you read it by yourself, and you're bringing it to a very human experience level.
Yeah.
And I really felt this weekend there were so many golden nuggets. And I would like to know from you, what is like the essence of what you teach to, and what do you feel is the essence of what you're teaching and delivering to people?
Essence. That's a good, that's a good question. That's. I think that there are just ways and techniques to optimize your physical body, your nervous system, your mental state, and your emotional state. And once you are able to harmonize them, you experience life in a different way, with more harmony and unity, and you tap into an inner wisdom with that as well. So it's about it. It's not about all the theories about life. There's so many theories, and like I said, when I was younger, I was raised very Christian, and the teachings of Jesus, I'm still very, very much connected with that, and beautiful. But I grew up with the idea Christianity is the only way, and then there is another religion, and they say, no, this religion is the only way, and you should do it like this and like that, and all these different theories. And then you would speak to somebody who doesn't believe in God, and it's all about science, but that's all in the mind, in the head. But what do you actually directly feel, directly experience? And there are just, with all these practical techniques of meditation, breathing, yoga asana, qigong, you can get yourself into a state where you directly experience the truth. Because this is truth, right here, right now. Here and now, what you experience, what you feel. And truth is not a theory on paper about the truth. It's not a description about life. It's not a description about what is. What is what is, and how can you get yourself into a state to directly experience that? So in that way also, when we train ourselves to do that, we set ourselves free from all the stories we tell ourselves about our past, about our future, all our worries, or we tell ourselves about what should be, could be, would be. We stop telling ourselves stories. We go beyond the mind and just directly experience life in its essence, in its pure essence, with that pure consciousness. This becomes already very theoretical. So this theory, it's about doing it.
Yeah. As soon as you start to talk about it, it's already could be misdirected.
Yeah. I always like to use this metaphor that there's sometimes the wind, and you see, let's say there's a child, and he sees the wind blowing, and it moves the clouds. Oh wow, the wind moves the clouds and moves the trees, and it moving the grass, and on the water it makes waves, and wow, the wind is just moving everything. And he grabs a plastic bag and wants to grab the wind so he can show his friends, look, here is the wind that moves everything. But of course, the essence of the wind is not in that bag. And I think that's what happens if we try to theorize reality or God. It loses its essence. But we can feel it. We can learn to, in this metaphor, then to look at the clouds, or to look at the trees, or to really see life as it unfolds in the moment by moment by moment, instead of a theory about it. And the same with it, that we can feel life in the presence of the Creator, God, the Source. That we can feel it happening in every moment, right now. And if we can feel it in the moments of beauty and peace and joy, and learn to also take that into daily life, because life is not always peace and joy. There's always fluctuations in things happening. We can take that presence into, this is also life, and that's also life. And the whole package of creation, the whole package of emotions and feelings and states of being, then we can start to flow with life instead of fighting with life.
That was very beautiful, how you said it this way. There was a course I did with you, a very, very special one. I think I would recommend it to everybody. 40 Days of Transformation. And in that course, you go over, there's certain things to do at certain times of the day, you know, like morning practice of moving your body, but also morning gratitude and evening reflections. How do you feel these practices of gratitude and evening reflections help build you up as a spiritual being, or build up your spiritual life?
I think one of the yamas is in yoga, or niyamas, is cultivating contentment, because especially how we grow up in a society where you always need to be somewhere, go somewhere, do something in order to feel complete. You have to buy this product and then your life will be complete. You have to first finish your school and then you have to first have that job or that status. So always feeling that you are only complete. It's like the donkey and the carrot. You're almost there, but you just keep walking the treadmill blindly. And to practice gratitude, that really helps us to bring ourselves into a state to recognize what I have already here is already enough. So, and we can train that with little moments when we have food in front of us, and this is a great blessing because there's many people in the world that maybe don't have food. But if you have food in front of you, take a little moment. Wow, now it's good. And maybe sometimes we sit like here. Wow, beautiful flowers, beautiful trees. Thank you, beautiful. Or if we can sleep in a bed, many people can't sleep in a bed, then we feel like, wow, thank you. So all these little moments where we feel that actually in that moment it's already good and you're already enough. Because otherwise we live in a constant state of lack, and we try to find ways to fill up that state of lack.
Oh, wow.
So reminding ourselves that completeness is already in the moment, here and now. So then we train, if you look at it scientifically, parts of our brain that are able to feel contentment, that are able to feel gratitude. Like a muscle, we start to train it and we get better and better at it. It's a very essential part, gratitude. And I say this like a mantra the whole day through. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like sitting here, thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful cloud formation, thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful building, nice sound, nice music, nice people. I say also to people a lot, food in front of me. Wow, beautiful, thank you, thank you, thank you. And this mantra, it just brings you, eventually, elevate your frequency, and you can get it so, you become so good at it, so to say, that you get even grateful for the things you would normally very much resist in life, but will have to inevitably come up in your life. That you keep resisting a certain emotion or a certain situation or some things you have to be confronted with in this journey we go through as a soul in this life. And then we can go into a state of also this, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can learn here something. Or thank you, thank you, thank you. I can grow from this.
Yeah.
And like that we start to have every challenge and everything that happens in life as something to grow even more as a spirit, as a soul on a journey through this life. So the practice of cultivating contentment and gratitude is I think one of the most powerful practices that someone can cultivate, can do.
And there's like immediate shifts. And it doesn't really take so much effort. It's like a switch you're pulling.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Like now, also for people, maybe you think of something you're grateful for, and you think like, oh, wow, that's actually already in my life. Wow, beautiful, thank you. You just breathe it. Little, tiny little shift, but it's about these tiny little shifts, because a lot of times we go in life with tiny little shifts that also bring us into a lower state, and we want to become very aware of this inner world, this state of energetic state that we are basically, right? And you could look at it scientifically, how the nervous system is behaving, or how the state of our mind or emotions is. But we can start to tune that, to tweak that, to become able also to give space completely also for the things that we've been repressing for so long, or we're trying to avoid certain feelings. Now also that it's all right, it's so good. It's also this, thank you. You're trying to show me something, teach me something, like that. So to open up, unfold more and more into the light.
Yeah. Wow. There's certain part of us that needs to go through a lot of like sadness and anger, and of course joy. These are very primal feelings we're experiencing, and I think I genuinely feel like I recognize a true yogi when they are fully accepting and embracing of these emotions, you know. But somehow you can still have a lot of sadness and not suffer. And I had a moment on your first retreat with Thomas. He was talking about these philosophies of like, if you're just angry and you're fully in the anger and you're able to like kind of go into it without resistance, and you're not in your head, you're not thinking poor me, you're not in a victim mode about it, you're fully in it. It's a fully lived experience that can even bring like clarity and like bliss maybe afterwards. And he taught us like a prayer to say when something comes up. And then I told him I had the same experience. There was something that happened to me that brought so much sadness to my life. And I encountered a teaching that said, when you ever feel like a sadness or anger, just pause for a second. Just like breathe it in. It's okay. Like, what is this teaching me first? And then you should say, because very often we have a preconceived idea of what we want to happen. Or like, I am feeling sad because this did not go the way I wanted it to go. You know, that's why my emotional system responds with sadness. So the prayer was, you breathe in the sadness and you say, I detach from all preconceived outcomes and I want to purely feel the peace of God in this moment. Because we've trained ourselves that there's lack, like you said. You know, we lost the chance with this girl, or we lost some money, or we missed our flight, or something came up in life, and we beat ourselves down and we are in a negative spiral. But the other way of looking at it would be like breathing it in, like you're connecting to the now moment, where there's no suffering in the now. There's a maybe an elevated pulse. You're feeling something, and then you're just telling yourself like, this is not so important that I want my peace to be taken away from me. And I think this is really where contentment lies as well. Because if we're constantly chasing happiness, we want happiness through girls or money or house or something material. Whenever that gets taken away, or even just when the high wears off, we go down again. But peace and contentment is something that stays without falling again. It's a subtler form of joy.
Yeah, it's almost beyond emotions. It's a state of pure presence. It's not. That's the whole, this whole concept. Some people maybe understand what we're talking about. This is that essence of the bliss body, of the bliss being, that we can go beyond emotions, basically. Beyond, we feel the emotion, but we're having like the experience of the emotion. We embrace the complete experience of life, but from a higher self, deeper bliss state, being, not trying to fix or change a certain outcome or something like that, to just allow life to happen in that state of presence, that state of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's a very very beautiful thing.
So, for someone who would be starting out on a path of yoga or meditation or doing any of your work, what would be your advice to start cultivating a daily practice?
So I would first of all learn breathing properly. It sounds very basic, but just to learn to breathe from your lower abdominal area with the diaphragm, and slow breath into the belly and slowly up to the lungs, not too deep. Breathing out in and out through the nose, or slowly into the belly, and from the belly slowly up into the chest, into the heart. Relax the belly, and then a slow breath out. And this slow breathing helps you instantly to regulate your nervous system. If your nervous system is a bit stressed or a bit tensed, or you're worrying, it gets you out of your mind, to just take some calm deep breaths. And to do that, it would be great to do that for maybe 5 minutes in the morning, or to set a timer, do it for 10 minutes, but also throughout the day make little mini breaks, right? Maybe just for 1 minute, just a couple of slow breaths, and to throughout the day kind of rewire step by step, little bit every time, your nervous system out of a state where you constantly feel lack, constantly feel you need to be somewhere, go somewhere, do something, this tension of life, this stress, but to come back to your center. And that's a very simple thing that everybody, I'm sure, can do. But then maybe you can implement a little bit more, that in the morning you also take some care of your body, these asanas, or there's this beautiful practice that we have done in the weekend also, 5 Tibetan rites, just physical practice to strengthen the physical body, to help to get out of your mind into your body, to open up the nervous system, the energy system, and to notice, it takes like 15 minutes, that after you are a bit more centered, you feel your body, it's more vital, more strong, more healthy. If you do that for like a week in a row, you really feel a difference in your energy level. Like that, to implement it in daily life, and to practice gratitude. So those 3 things: practicing gratitude, learn to breathe properly, and practice some physical asanas. And from there, maybe learning a bit more about some other breathing techniques. And I have 7 Days Essentials course. I would highly recommend everybody doing that, in which I explain these techniques, and then in 7 days you can really create a routine in your life. But taking ownership again, ownership of it's your nervous system, then learn to take control of it. It's your emotional system. Learn yourself to go within and to feel and to clean things out. It's your body, it's your mind. So take ownership, responsibility, and with these beautiful techniques you can cultivate your own frequency, your own state, so to say, your energy state, right?
It's quite funny when you say your nervous system, you take responsibility for it. It sounds like it's very common sense, but I used to go through a period where I would go through any transmissions, ayahuasca ceremonies, yoga retreat, something promising, and I allowed marketing to buy me. Like, I was always casting the responsibility away from me and hoping that someone else could just finally fix me or tweak me in that way, so I would not have to deal with myself on my own, you know. And it was such a liberating feeling when I started to get into a good, for me it was a chanting practice. And I remember driving down a road and I was like, wow, this is how I always wanted to feel, like through doing the ayahuasca work, you know. But I like the example of what people say, like the ayahuasca or the medicine will show you the door, it will show you what's on the other side of it, but you have to still walk the path.
Yes.
Even though you got the glimpse on the medicine, doesn't mean that you're automatically gonna land there without the work. Because also walking the path is where the treasure lies. Like you're having to face some parts of yourself, and you're realizing you've been doing something, and you overstep it. You build a strong character, and this character will be with you for life, and will make the rest of your life more easy because you've already walked the way. It's the hero's journey, you know. You can't just skip and teleport and get the treasure without killing the dragon first.
Yes. Yeah, the effort you have to put into it yourself, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think for some people it's sometimes very hard to have discipline. It's very hard to take ownership because they're just stuck for so many years in the loop, or believe that they are not enough, they can't do it, or but I think with that, cultivating that ability, also through the breath, but the ability to feel, to accept, to feel accepted eventually also, but to accept your own feelings, your own emotions. And the greatest form of acceptance. Acceptance. The greatest form of acceptance is love eventually. To love, to be compassionate. And that's also one of the main powerful qualities to cultivate, is that you can become compassionate towards your own mind, towards your own heart, towards your past, towards your future. Just become compassionate, so compassionate that it becomes love. Like, it's okay. Because from that compassion, otherwise we always get stuck in the state of disempowerment, of not feeling enough. I can't do it. But to go into a state, it's okay, and this feeling and that feeling, it's also okay, and it's very healing, and it's empowering. Eventually, we break free from the change of certain beliefs of trying to avoid, or certain structures we create to avoid certain states of our being, or feelings, or parts of our being, so we can bring unity and then love and compassion, and from there deep transformation can start to happen, and we will then be much more able and empowered to take control of our decisions, and regulate our own, choose a state of our nervous system and body and mind by doing certain practices. So, because why am I saying that? Because for some people, they are so disempowered for many years of negative self-belief, of self-doubt, of feeling very low, and depression. And it's just there's this feeling, so to say, and I just can't do anything. And I know I should be doing every day some breathing, but I just can't, because this feeling is there. Okay, first, let's look at the basis. Then, can you become okay with that you are in this moment feeling like that, without trying to fix first? It's there. Okay. Start to become okay with feeling not okay. That's also okay. Create compassion. It becomes love eventually.
It already makes it much more bearable.
Much more bearable, yeah. And it's like this heavy blanket. We go like this heavy blanket, it go like this. We come out of the blanket, out of the clouds. And then from there we can start to change our perspective. We start to rise our awareness above the heaviness of these states that we try to avoid or change, and elevate. We elevate above it. Yeah.
And also, there's a power in starting small, and not trying. Because I made that mistake many times, wanting to have a 2-hour morning routine, and so I would need less sleep. And the idea of starting the practice was just too heavy for me to even start. So I think what you brought to us in the weekend was very much about just simple, small daily actions that over time will evolve and grow.
Yeah. Yeah. Start small, little steps. 3 breaths. And then 3 breaths become maybe 5 breaths. Maybe you can sit for 5 minutes and just cultivate inner peace, But for sure, otherwise it feels overwhelming. Like, oh man, I have to do 1 hour of yoga in the morning.
Yeah. So
It's
much
too much.
pain in
Forget
my
about
body.
it. Yeah. I'm not gonna do anything. And then you're not gonna do anything. But just little small steps, for sure.
So I want to change the topic a little bit because we were just on a retreat this weekend, organized by Gunnar and me and Bata Akademían, which is the association that helps prisoners rehabilitate and get back into life, and a part of their practice is to go into prisons to teach other prisoners breathwork. And we felt they, they've all been very inspired by breathwork. It's helped them a lot. And a part of it used to be the very heavy, like hyperventilating breathworks, like Wim Hof breathing, Soma breathing, and all the other ones.
Shamanic breathing.
Shamanic breathing.
Holotropic.
Holotropic, that was the one. And I think it's beautiful because it has woken up so many people. And this weekend we also witnessed a lot of transformations with very simple breathing techniques. So my question is, how do you feel these different techniques help you in a different way?
So they all have their own benefit. If people are really, there is a lot of blockages in the emotional system and things are just really locked up completely, and the mind is so strong, people are so much in their mind, it's really hard for them when you say just sit, calm your breath and feel that sense of peace within. The mind is so strong, it will just go like in the whole nervous system, so much restlessness and strong thoughts about worries or shame or guilt and emotions that are completely sucking all their awareness out. So then it's good, some strong stuff. You need the rough stuff.
Break through the walls.
Break through the walls. It is shamanic breathing, holotropic breathing, conscious connected breathing, all these, it's basically all the same kind of hyperventilating techniques, right? So that it overrides your whole nervous system. It overrides your thinking mind. It overrides your protection mechanism around your emotional system. It unblocks and floods everything. But eventually we want to start working on a more subtle level also, to not just have heavy, strong breakthroughs of emotions and peak experience and release and feeling lots of endorphins, and the whole chemistry in our brain changes and we start to space out and like we've been taking drugs, right? And some people get a bit of, you could almost say, addicted to that peak moment, that peak experience. But then again, there's the old, dull, boring life, and you want your peak experience. Eventually, we want to work also with the softer breathing techniques, because this softer breathing techniques gets our whole nervous system in such a calm state. Our heart rate slows down. Our mind can start to really become so completely quiet. Everything becomes still. The emotional states become quiet, and we can then start to bring our awareness into our center, and our awareness into that so-called core of our being, that essence of our being, that spaciousness, into a deep meditation. And that is real meditation. Spacing out and having all sorts of strong visualizations and tingling sensations in the body, that's not meditation. It's a strong experience, but it's it's the mind, it's the energy system, the emotional system, but you're not going into a state of pure consciousness, so to say. So that's what we're trying to cultivate with the slower breathing technique, is to bring real harmony in all these layers of being by slowing down, by calming down. Instead of going high up, we want to go into our essence, into our source. So they both have their own benefits, but we want to eventually let go more of the really deep, strong hyperventilating techniques and go more into the slower, softer breathing techniques. It's for some people, it feels in the beginning very boring to do the slow breathing techniques, and then like, but I don't feel that spectacular sensation. I want to do something. I want to control. I want to do it with force. And you're saying to focus on my breath, or to slow down very slowly, feel an expansion and a letting go. But my mind is too restless. It's too racing all over the place. That means you have to train your mind. You have to train your awareness to become steady, to become still, and that takes time. So to go deeper into the practice eventually, those slower breathing practices are essential and are key to it. And that's also how it's described in the yogic traditions. Pranayama it's about expansion of the breath. Breathing eventually so soft, so slow that you hardly even notice that you're breathing. Everything becomes so still, but when everything else becomes still, the mind, the emotional system, the physical sensations on the body, the awareness starts to rise into a state of clarity, into a state of pure consciousness. So, one more thing about this. It's a little bit like this. You have a freshly cut big wooden board, and you want to make like this beautiful shining table from it, a tabletop. You know these tabletops that are so smooth, so shiny, you can see your reflection in it. It becomes so smooth. So first, what you want to do is get heavy machinery to cut out exactly the right things, but to also the right piece, but also to scrape off or to sand off anything unsmooth. So
imbalances.
So you have a really rough sandpaper and a machine sanding everything up so that it becomes a bit more smooth. But then it's not yet shiny. Then you want to do things with a little bit softer sandpaper, and then you start to again do it until it becomes nice and smooth. Then you want even more fine sandpaper, and then it starts to become a bit more shiny. And what you want to do then is to put oil on it and just let the oil soak in there for a couple of hours. Let the oil soak in, and then it becomes a very smooth, shining table. But if you would do the rough sandpaper again, it would become again not shiny. And people notice that have been going deeper into the practice, that sometimes it becomes a bit counterproductive to do very strong hyperventilating breathing techniques for a long time, because you notice it just triggers more restlessness. You notice that there's more activity in your mind, and there's more things happening in this nervous system. You've activated your sympathetic nervous system, and that's not the state we want to create when we want to go into meditation.
Very beautiful metaphor.
Yeah.
Very useful, actually.
Beautiful.
And how do you like the work that they're doing in Bata Akademían?
That's amazing. It's really, really, really amazing. It's so interesting to see how people come from addictions and come from being imprisoned and from a very criminal background, and they are really shifting completely their life. They are being empowered, being able to face their past without trying to avoid it, to face their emotion, to without having to take substances, to bring real healing. And a lot of people I talk to also now on the retreat, they are even now sharing what they have learned themselves to help others, people that are either in rehabilitation or rehab or in prison, to help them out and living a purposeful life. So it's a huge transformation, I think, also in the way that as a society we would treat inmates, how we would treat people that criminals having to go to prison, how we treat people with addictions, to really give them the tools with the breath work, with the meditation, what Tola is doing also in a beautiful way, and what the, Gunnar is doing in a beautiful way, what you are doing, to give them the tools to work with, and the beautiful soul starts to emerge from these people that are putting themselves into the service of helping others as well.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
I think this is one of the problems with society. We've been programmed a lot to just judge, and we judge pretty harshly, both others and ourselves. And I think that gets reflected in the prison system, that the guards are maybe not holding the inmates in a high regard, maybe rather looking down on them like people who did something wrong and who need to be punished. And I think it can be even unknown to our awareness that we have these judgments, you know. And coming back to Jesus, like you talked about, like I think one of his core principles was seeing the Christ heart in every single person, seeing someone, like if someone did a horrible crime, like wow, you must have felt really bad to have done this horrible thing, but I see you and I hold you in high regard. I hope we can help you, you know. This kind of approach could really help heal the world, in comparison with, let's put you in a jail cell and hold you there until you realize what you did, you know, kind of like punishing a dog.
Yeah. No, for sure.
It's very different states of thinking, and I think this is the heart-centered way of thinking about it.
Absolutely.
That we're more coming into.
Yeah. With compassion, with love and kindness, and give them the tools to work with, and not just lock people up in a cell and say, okay, see you in 5 years, of course, getting the food and everything, but not helping them to regulate their nervous system, not helping them to deal with the emotions they were maybe suppressing, or that brought them into addiction and crime, and being very incompassionate, and giving them tools to tools to use the time in prison to find healing, because a lot of times it's people that have been hurt themselves in their life, or never learned to be compassionate, or or shame and regret, and all these dark states, they pull people into doing dark things. If we can help people to face their shadows, face these dark states, and bring light into that, then it transforms their whole being.
And having that community like Bata Akademían around makes it so much easier than for people to do it on their own.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, in the Buddhist tradition, this is called the Sangha, one of the essential pillars. To have a community of people that can support each other, that can help each other, and just to feel also, I'm not alone in this. And if somebody falls off the wagon a bit, that they are helped, they are supported by others. Super important. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Wow. So last thing, just wanted to really thank you for coming, first of all, to Iceland, and to be a part of my first podcast.
Beautiful.
And if people want to find you, where can they look you up?
That's beautiful. And on yogalab.com, yogalab with a P, from the Life Awareness Project. On the website there's many different courses. You can find retreats from there, and I would recommend people, if they want to get into this, to do the 7 days essentials course, or do the Breath is Life course, and it's for a pay what you can price, so that it's affordable for everyone to do. But I hope you can not just listen to videos and podcasts and have theory, but to put practice into life, so that you can start to feel it, and then you don't have to listen anymore to podcasts, and it's still beautiful to do, but then you have all that wisdom. It's already all within yourself. All these things, it's within yourself. But do then the practices to cultivate the ability to experience it, to feel it. Yeah. So yogalab.com.
It's funny that I'm recording my first podcast and I'm already wanting to not do podcasts.
No, but it's beautiful. It's inspiring, and it's helping. Your future guests also. Hopefully, they can be very inspiring for people. It's a beautiful thing. Podcast, don't get me wrong, but sometimes, it's like somebody who wants to run a marathon, and he goes to the library and gets books about it, and then watches podcast or listens to podcasts, but he's not running himself, and he's not gonna get up in the morning and actually do some running, of course. And you're never gonna be able to run a marathon, right? And that's what it's about. It's good to get inspired, but also do the practical work.
Definitely. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, brother.
Hope to welcome you again on my 100th podcast.
Beautiful to celebrate.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, friends. Lots of love. All the best.